Hi, this video is going to go into the DJI goggles. We're going to do unboxing, first thoughts and frustrations. So the DJI goggles are the FPV DJI product. So it's first person vision. It can do 720 at 60 frames, or it can do 1080 at 30 frames. Interestingly, no 4K option. The two screens essentially equal out to that be of 2K. When you're actually looking at them through the actual DJI goggles themselves. Yeah, and the battery for the DJI goggles themselves can last for 6 hours. The side of the actual controller is where you control all the options, and that's where you navigate all your menu settings. With the DJI goggles comes a variety of intelligent modes, which is really useful. If you want to do any kind of active tracking, any kind of tripod movement, things of that nature, tap to fly. You can do that all through the actual DJI goggles themselves. You don't need to consult the remote control. Also, you can connect up. You have some inputs, selections. You've got a micro USB input that's for charging and doing any kind of connections to the Inspire series or the Phantom 4 series. You've got audio where you can plug in a set of headphones. The actual DJI goggles themselves have a set of external speakers where you can hear audio. You can do micro SD card where it records to the the actual DJI goggle SD card slot there. Unfortunately, the goggles do not come with SD cards, which is very frustrating as a DJI product owner of multiple devices now. All of them coming with SD cards, even the Spark coming with an SD card. This not for $500. I'm pretty frustrated about that. Interestingly, you can't put videos on that and upload them to the goggles. It's strictly write only. If you do want to watch videos, that's HDMI input, which again you'll need to connect to that for Phantom 4 Inspire series drones. This device really is designed for Mavic Pro, where you use the OctaSync. Not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but it's a wireless link basically. All the other devices that DJI have invented for drone technology, you need to use some form of cable. And if you do want to play some video games or you want to film, I'm not sure why you'd want to watch a film with DJI goggles, mind you, but if you do want to do either of those two things, use the HDMI as an input there. Why don't we look at the unboxing and we'll see what it looks like here. So why don't we do a quick tour around the actual device itself. Here you'll see a knob which increases or decreases the size of the actual headband itself. So if you have a small head or a large head, you toggle that and it just rotates it. Here you can press a button to release the two separate items. You've got their visor and then you've got the actual headset itself. Do know that the visor actually is where you use the charging option. Here you can see the actual band increasing, decreasing with size as you rotate the knob. Here you've got the HDMI inputs, and if you want to do audio in as well, or the SD slot that goes in there. Here's the on-off button again with DJI products. You tap it once to battery length, and you tap it twice, and it actually turns on or off the device itself. Here you have the optical dial there, so it adjusts the sensitivity of your eyes, and you have a return button and a menu button there. Here you have the USB micro in slot, so you need to charge up. This is where you plug in, and the instructions are very, very basic, which is very frustrating for a $500 item. This snapshot here pretty much goes over the nuts and the bolts of the instruction booklets, which you get 3 of, and one of them is a complete waste of time. The other one is just technical blurb on legal and guidance points on using the goggles. Why don't we talk about setup, which is a little bit frustrating. I'm talking for Mavic owners here, so felt like I was almost directed to go to the DJI tracking app, which you need to download through a laptop. I mistakenly attempted this, realized that I didn't need to do it, and actually could activate it through the actual Mavic Pro itself. So here I went to the actual Wi-Fi slot on the Mavic Pro, hit the sync link button, and within 5 seconds it hooked up and was synced in with the DJI goggles. So if you own a Mavic Pro, don't mess with anything else other than just hitting that sync button. So enough chit chat, why don't we actually see the DJI goggles in action now, and here in this video you'll see myself messing around with the active head track motion option. So wherever I'm looking, the actual gimbal moves left to right, up to down. I did notice that up to down is pretty generous field of view. Left to right was a little restricting, but I guess in this instance, when you're using a drone, you're going to be more interested in looking up and down. Let's look at the footage. Here's just some brief questions and answers on the DJI website on the actual DJI goggles. Obviously they're not waterproof. They can't be used to put a film on a micro SD slot and then plugged in and watching a movie that way. Why isn't DJI goggles wireless with Phantom or anything else? And why is there latency differences between 720p and 1080p? So some pretty interesting questions, and you can pause this video at any time to consult the answers or go to DJI's website. So my frustration so far with the DJI goggles was initially the instructions were just really appalling. Again, for a $500 item, you expect that there's going to be more direct instructions on what to do when you get it out of the box. Secondly, the fact that there isn't an SD card involved with this purchase, it just boggles my mind. The fact that you can't view up to 4K is very worrisome. The actual latency lag with head motion to gimbal response I thought was excellent, but I'm very much looking for additional options, video options, video frame rate options. It's worrying that for a product of this price, your only option is 720 and 1080. Pretty upset about that. So, but outside of my frustrations of lack of instructions, no SD provided, and frame rate and video resolution options, it's a pretty interesting addition to the drone industry and DJI product lineup in general. I mean, something like this is a pretty cool feature. I don't really see it being used for corporate film cinematography purposes, but this just goes along with the enjoyment of owning a drone and flying a drone. If you have some interest in regions where you can fly, and you want to pop these goggles on, this is going to enhance your experience a lot more and make it a unique two-man experience if needed, if you want to bring somebody along to kind of get them into the whole kind of bug of flying a drone. So, is it worth $500? I mean, you can definitely put your money towards other things. I mean, you don't necessarily need to own these. Lychee has the option of doing virtual reality, FPV, through their app, which is just up and down motion. There's no head left, head right, nor it has any of the options really that are available for the DJI goggles with regards to motion tracking and things like that. But it's you can do your research and see if it's something that you really want to pursue. it definitely is a bit of a luxury toy at this point. And you know, if you're into the commercial side of droning, this is something that you won't need. But if you're into recreational and you're a hobbyist or enthusiast on flying, and you just kind of want to share this experience with people, family members, loved ones, what have you, you know, this is an interesting toy to have in your arsenal to whip out and share with people and share the experience. So I hope this video was some use. Love to hear what you think of DJI goggles down below in the comments section. Thank you.